conservative point of view to black issues. His mission, to provide a forum for honest discussions about social issues without the liberal lapdogs shutting down the discussion. Broadcasting from the American Truth Project Studios in beautiful Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. This is Conservative Nation with your host, JERMAIN BOTSIO.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Conservative Nation with me, your host, JERMAIN BOTSIO. And on today's show, you guys know what the deal is. It is Wednesday, and I got the one, the only Anthony Allen, brother from another mother. How are you doing, sir?
Fantastic, JERMAIN BOTSIO. The weather I hear is kind of chilly and cold and snowy up there and where you are. But it's nice here. It's probably about, like the mid 60s.
Oh, Lord.
Nice weather here. No snow, kind of wet and rainy. But other than that, it's just great weather here.
Gosh darn it. I would love to have some weather like that. I want folks to understand. I would love to have weather like that. Here in Minneapolis
in my now, right?
Yeah.
I'm just cooling out here, So, but there's a lot to talk about. We just had this election. We're going to get into that, of course. And I just want to encourage people that we just cannot allow the leftists to take our country. The country does belong to us, not them. They want to turn it over to Marxism and communism, and they're going full force after this man.
Yeah, absolutely correct. They are going full force. If we don't stand up, we don't do something, and we have to change what we're doing right now. What we're doing is not working, and I believe it's because of us not recognizing a few things that are going on. Sean Hannity said that we have to regroup. This is what he said. We have to regroup and start voting, start looking at what the Democrats are doing and seeing what we're doing wrong. This is what Sean Hannity and the folks are saying out there. I was listening to Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich, God bless his soul, let me tell you. He says that we have to shy away from the old Republicans, the boomer Republicans. I absolutely agree with him in that sense. And he's talking about the culture and how we are losing on different platforms. TikTok, he spoke about. He said that liberals are on TikTok. The new generation, Generation X, they get most of their information. Guess what? From Facebook, TikTok, and all these other godforsaken platforms. Let me tell you. They don't get it from Fox News. And when he said that, that makes so much sense. Because when you look at these platforms, you got nothing but these TikTok influencers who are paid by the Democratic Party to push BS. We don't have any of that on our side. And one thing that is not spoken about when we shall speak about that is the family. This is something that Republicans and conservatives have been failing at. And I don't know what's going on. They're smoking too much weed. Got to put it down. You can't win in this country if the family screwed up. Most children right now are being raised by mama. Mama! I want folks to understand that. And when you're raised by your mama, I want the men to understand. I want the women to understand here. Most of the children, 98%, maybe 99. I'm just doing a general, well, I would say a conservative estimate here. 98% gonna turn out liberal. Women, their germane thought process, if they were left alone in the woods, their thought process would be like a liberal. And I want folks to understand that. It's not in a woman's nature for her to think like a conservative. I know that hurts some women out there, right? And women know what I'm talking about. You had to adopt the thought process. It's not something that is germane to you. It's not something that is natural, right? So we have to understand that without the children growing up in what we call good homes, traditional family homes, we will have liberals from here to Pakistan, and you will never win. It's like you're going against oncoming tide, and you have nothing to prepare yourself. We have to be smarter than that. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button. Make sure you do share. We got a lot to discuss tonight, and let me tell you something. We are about to flame. We about to flame. Anthony Allen, buddy, pal, my goodness gracious, my lips started running early. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready, man. Let's go do it, brother.
Absolutely. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please, oh please, make sure you do your due diligence. All right, don't make me have to come through the screen with a belt and whoop ya. All right? Absolutely. Hit that like button. Make sure you share. First one up. I want to go ahead and speak to you guys about Chicago. Crime spree is out of control. And let me tell you something. Chicago is like a little microcosm of what's going on across this nation. Can't get around it. Let me go ahead and run this. When I come back, I want to speak about it. Make sure you share. Please, oh, please. Here we go.
30 violent robberies in 3 weeks.
Our Tara Molina has been tracking them all, and she's live in Ukrainian Village tonight with more on what's being done about all of this. Tara?
Joe and Marie, that's a question I've been asking Chicago police for a week now. What's being done about all of this? What we know today of the more than 30 violent robberies we've tracked here at CBS2, there have been no arrests. 38 violent robberies in 3 weeks, averaging more than one a day now in the city. 6 of them today on the city's west side. Mapped here, 38. They all happened in less than an hour. We mapped out the other 28 so you can see the spread. Many of the crime sprees on the city's north and west sides. With police warning about 10 armed robberies in a day Friday, all within hours and blocks. 3 of them here in Ukrainian Village, on North Rockwell, West Iowa, and Northwestern. Police say a crew of 3 men between 17 and 30 were behind all 10, armed with semi-automatic handguns, threatening all of their victims in the same way. Could those 3 be tied to any of the other violent robberies we've tracked? A number of them, also involving 3 armed men. Police aren't saying
Al
and
Sharp,
won't address
I know
those
he don't
questions,
care.
but we did learn, checking in on each and every one of
3
them today,
Negroes robbing.
there have been no arrests. No arrests in robberies involving beatings with weapons, even shootings.
No arrests.
And while we know this most recent spike has been on the north and west sides, these are the 5 neighborhoods and community areas seeing the most of the crime this year, including violent robberies and hijackings. They are Austin, the near west side, Westtown, the near north side, and the Loop. Coming up at 6, we're taking a closer look at the number of robbery investigations already suspended. That means Chicago police aren't actively looking into those cases anymore. Cases from the past 3 weeks.
Oh,
Reporting
Lord.
live in Ukrainian Village, I'm Tara Molina.
You got to get a gun. You got to get a gun.
Thanks.
Anthony Allen, my goodness gracious, buddy pal. You cannot make this crap up. You really cannot. 38 robberies in 3 weeks. No arrests. And they had a description of 3 black Negroes. I believe they were tap dancing and eating chicken while robbing. Let me tell you something. You can't get around this. This is what happens when you have Democrats elected in office. And they know that if they are doing the real work it takes to keep crime low, they're going to be locking up a lot of blacks, let me tell you. What do you think about this here, sir?
Yeah, this is very, very interesting and, very, very tragic, because when you saw this report, the first thing I noticed was that the report came from the Ukraine Village.
Yeah.
Okay. I never heard of that as a neighborhood.
Same with me.
And so what's happening now is that the crime on the West End is creeping over into the nicer neighborhoods of the West End. And of course, it's creeping into the Ukraine area. The Ukraine Village is one of the biggest populations of Ukrainians in Chicago. And that's where this reporter is making her report from. So now that it's creeping over, guess what? People are start talking about this. You and I have been talking about crime in the black neighborhood, crime in the suburban neighborhood, okay? But the news reporters are never talking about crime in the black neighborhoods or crime in the white suburban neighborhoods. But now that we have a Ukraine war going on and everybody wants to fly the Ukrainian flag now, people are getting concerned. I want them to be concerned about crime all over Chicago and not just post up, not just talk about it when the crime is leaking over into Ukraine Village. So I'm very, very disappointed that these reporters will not go to the black neighborhoods.
Yep.
Okay, they won't go there. Look at the background of the reporter. Nice, shiny downtown area. She is not at all afraid of being in the Ukraine village, but she
Mm-mm.
will not go down there in the ghetto and say crime in the ghetto, crime in the black neighborhoods, crime in the white suburbs. You and I will talk about that, but these reporters, they are not going there. And one more thing, I do have friends that live in Chicago. I am not trying to put them down at all, but people in Chicago are getting exactly what they vote for. They
Mm-hmm.
vote for Democrats, they get high crime. They vote for Lori Lightfoot, they get high crime. They need to change the way that they vote in Chicago if they want to bring Chicago's crime rate under control. They are going to have to vote out some black Democrats, vote out some black liberal white people, vote out Lori Lightfoot, vote out some Democrats if they want to get Chicago back.
That is the only way. That is the only way, Anthony Allen. And when you take a look at what was going on here, they had what they are calling 3 African American males, 17 to 30 years of age, wearing dark clothing and ski masks, right? Biden has made it very good. This COVID BS has made it very good for criminals, right? Every person you see that is outside look like a criminal now because they're wearing these gosh darn masks over their face. And then these folks are running around with semi-automatic handguns. Now,
Yeah.
Anthony Allen, when folks are scared about African Americans robbing, stealing, and killing in these urban areas, and then all of us, you can't even tell the truth. You can see if you don't step up and do what is right, these things can go way out of proportion. 38 robberies, 3 weeks, no arrests. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. It is. And then they're talking about they're suspending cases that they've already started because apparently they have no leads. You get what I'm saying? That's how crazy it is out there. Why would anybody want to live in areas like this and tolerate the crime? I also believe, just like you and Jamal, you vote for what you want. And apparently a lot of these folks really want this stuff. You just can't get around it, Anthony Allen. You vote for these people, you're always getting this. So it comes down to it. Do they really care about crime like that, the folks in this area? Or is it just something for them to gripe about? Last words.
Yeah, thank you, sir. The people that are impacted by the crime, they do care. But the people who are benefiting, like the wealthy, the politicians that live in gated communities, they could care less. Let me give you and the audience some statistics. In 2018, total shot in Chicago, 2,962.
Ooh.
Total homicides in Chicago in 2018, 592. In 2019, total shot in Chicago, 2,754. Total homicides, 521. 2020, total shot, listen to this, total shot in 2020, 4,174 and 798 homicides. In 2021, total shot in Chicago, 4,543, and total homicides, 855. This is a war zone here. Any other community, this is what we're talking about when we have Democrat rule. in Chicago. And nothing's being done about this except when it begins to bleed over into Ukrainian village. They won't talk about it when it's already, metastasizing in the Black communities and in the white urban communities. That doesn't get any play there at all, the main BOTSIO. But once it starts bleeding over into Ukraine village, because we want to protect the Ukrainians. They're fighting a war in Ukraine.
Yep.
We can't have them come to Chicago and get shot up. But so once again, the American citizen is at the back of the bus. The American citizen is not noble anymore. The Ukrainians are noble, not the American citizens. And you're right. They are going to have to find a way to put a stop to this. And it begins by voting, and it begins by protecting yourself. They have semi-automatic weapons. Being in Chicago, one's life should be in fear constantly because they're all wearing masks up there. They all look like gangsters there, and it's pretty scary. I can imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine. These folks here, and you nailed it right here. They're caring more about these robberies because it's in Ukrainian village.
Yeah.
A lot of the Ukrainians are getting robbed over there. So apparently this is a big deal. And it's not big when the blacks are getting robbed and they're robbing each other. So, it is what it is right now. It is what it is. These cities here, ladies and gentlemen, you see what's going on. You see it. Let's go ahead and move forward. Make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button. Make sure you do share. All right. Next one up, I want to speak to you guys about Kanye West. We spoke about him a little bit earlier yesterday. And I want to go ahead and show you guys a picture. I want to show you guys a picture real quick. And I want to get Anthony Allen's take on this picture here. Let me go ahead and show the crowd here. Make sure you share and hit that like button. This is when Kanye West was on InfoWars. Kanye West is wearing it looked like I don't know if that's a winter jacket, some sort of jacket. And he has something over his head and his fingers. It looked like some zipper type of an outfit. I don't know if it's BDSM. I have no idea. Anthony Allen. Me and you spoke about Kanye West first when he was getting hit up by the media for him saying some crazy stuff. And I came up on here and I said, the Negro's crazy. When you're looking at this picture, Anthony Allen, what is going through your head? Can you tell us, what are you thinking when you see a image like this here, sir?
Yeah. You called me. I was working on some things, and that day it came on. You called me and said, "Hey, turn and listen and watch this," and it was surreal. I didn't expect to see that sight where Kanye West was covered, with this black hoodie type of a thing on his face. It was startling, because you just don't expect that at all from someone in public. That people can be bizarre, but that was just crossing the Rubicon and drowning, in the Rubicon, because he had stepped across something there that I thought was rather strange, rather weird, and very, very discomforting. I also want to talk about something too that kind of meshes into this. When you look at Kanye West, you find that on his left was a Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on that table was a Bible, and he's using the Bible as a prop. Okay. In fact, that whole interview was a prop. He had a prop with a net because he wanted to make fun of Netanyahu by having a net and then saying net and then saying Yahoo, like the internet company Yahoo. But it just reminded me that, Kanye West, he uses everything as a prop. And for him to use a Bible that way, I don't recall him reciting anything from the Bible. I don't recall him, mentioning any verses from the Bible. I just saw the Bible there as a prop. He
Yep.
could have just put his elbow on it and just, use it as a support, but it was nothing there. But this isn't the first time that Kanye West has been in public like this with this strange, BDSM covering over his whole face. That is awfully strange. But we did get a glimpse into the weird world of celebrities, and now we have a glimpse into the weird thinking of celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
because Kanye West saying that he sees good things about Hitler is like Kanye West saying that he sees good things about the table manners of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a disconnect there that he doesn't quite get. Okay. And so it's one of those bizarre moments. But clearly Kanye West does not have any advisors. There's no one telling him to back away from the cliff. There's no one saying, you know, uh, Kanye, don't go on this show with that face mask over your face that way. Don't do it. Please don't do it. I advise you not to do it. No one is telling him that.
Mm.
No one has the nerve enough to tell this billionaire who is clearly having some problems not to do something. But I do think that when President Trump had dinner with Kanye West, I believe that President Trump was trying to give him some fatherly advice and some wise counsel. I
Mm.
believe that Trump was trying to help a young man that he saw was having a mental breakdown.
Yeah. Mm. You know, I believe that in a sense that it was a setup.
Yes.
I couldn't believe that Trump would even waste his time, but he did. Trump is a different type of guy. He sat there. He took the meeting, and it ended up harming him. It really did. And Kanye West ended up throwing him under the bus. So I have an issue with Kanye West, with him coming around and doing stuff like this. I want to go ahead and show you guys something here. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you do share. And what is kind of funny, Anthony Allen, you pointed it out that Kanye West had a Bible. You get what I'm saying? He had a Bible sitting right next to him. While he was pointing out the craziness, which is kind of crazy to me, Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you do share. I want to go ahead here and show you guys this here. Let me go ahead and transition. I showed this yesterday on the show. Some people didn't even see this. Go ahead and transition. Here we go. Coming from the gatewaypundit.com. I will have my vengeance. Architect of the Mar-a-Lago Trump Ye dinner vowed in 2020 to burn Republican Party to the effing ground. So we have Milo. Why? He is the architect of the dinner here. and he's the one who had Nick Fuentes go with Kanye West. Now, when you have this going on here, Anthony Allen, you have Milo Yiannopoulos going out and saying stuff like this, saying that he's the architect of the dinner. Could it be that it was a complete setup? Milo, he knows what it is. He's been around the block a few times. Could it be that he set this up knowing that it would go down this way? Yes. What is it? What is your take on this here, sir?
Yeah, that is exactly what's taking place here. What's his name? Okay, Ye, Kanye. He's very, very susceptible now to the influences of anyone. He's having a nervous breakdown. He is a unwitting accomplice in this whole thing to set Trump up, because he needs someone on his side. He's out there by himself. And so Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos, they, start flattering him and telling him that, yes, you can run for president, and you need to go down there and you need to ask Trump to be your vice president. And of course, having a mental breakdown, he believes all this flattery that these two, bomb throwers are putting in his head. And he goes down there, but there's no excuse for Trump seeing him. Trump has some very, very bad handlers. I blame this whole fiasco not necessarily on Trump, but squarely on his handlers. When everyone knew that Ye was talking about running for president and going down to see Trump about asking Trump to be his vice president, that there, right then and there, that should have been a no-brainer, and Trump's handler should have said, no way that you are going to see Kanye West. The other dead giveaway was when there was a promise for Kanye West to show up for dinner by himself. He brings two people there, Fuentes, of course, and Milo. Now, Trump did not know Fuentes as a, white racist, but, Milo was a former editor of Breitbart. This former editor of Breitbart, Milo, he was fired. He was canned because he was advocating for pedophilia on a talk show. I actually heard him talk about this. He was on this radio talk show, and you could hear and you would say, what is he talking about? Why is he talking about this? But Milo was advocating pedophilia. He was talking about him having an affair with a priest and how he was groomed and how he was, advocating for other children being groomed the same way he was. And from that point on, Milo was gone. Breitbart didn't waste 1 second to fire Milo. He was removed from all book deals, all kinds of situations. So Milo feels that Trump has let him down, and also Fuentes feels that Trump has let him down.
Oh, yeah.
And so now we have a situation where these two use Kanye West to get into Trump in order to burn the Republican Party down. And they have been very, very successful because Trump has been very, very quiet since all this has happened.
Oh, yeah, very quiet.
He needs to fire his whole staff. Everyone that was responsible for letting Kanye West come down there, they should be fired. There's no excuse for Kanye. I'm not giving him a out. All three of them are complicit in this whole scheme to burn down the Republican Party. But Milo Yiannopoulos, he is the architect of this. He's a very, very sinister man.
Very sinister.
Advocates
the perfect word.
Yeah. He's a very, very sinister man. And they play Kanye West like a fiddle.
Oh, yeah. Kanye West, people say he's so crazy smart, genius. The Negro crazy. I don't care what anybody tell me. I still think he's crazy. And he ain't that smart because he was used. I believe he was absolutely used for destruction. And that's exactly what's going on. I want to go ahead and play you guys a clip from Mike Pence. Mike Pence says that Trump should apologize for the dinner with the white nationalists. Take a look. I'm telling you.
Denier a seat at the table. And President Trump was wrong to give a white nationalist, an anti-Semite, and a Holocaust denier a seat at the table. And I think he should have. President Trump was wrong to give a white nationalist, an anti-Semite, and a Holocaust denier a seat at the table. And I think he should apologize for it, and he should denounce those individuals and their hateful rhetoric without qualification. With that being said, as I point out in the book as well, I don't believe Donald Trump is an anti-Semite. I don't believe he's a racist or a bigot. I would not have been his vice president if he was. And people often forget the president's daughter converted to Judaism. Yep. His son-in-law is a devout Jew. His grandchildren are Jewish. And so the broad brush of attack that media leveled at him, but I think the president demonstrated profoundly poor judgment in giving those individuals a seat at the table. And as I said, I think he should apologize for it. He should denounce them without qualification.
Bow. Anthony Allen, Pence did the boomer roast. You get what I'm saying? Pence did the boomer roast. He said he should apologize for meeting with an anti-Semite, a white nationalist, Holocaust denier. I mean, the labels were going on and on and on with Pence. He also said that he practiced poor judgment. All right? And then he started saying, well, I don't know if Trump's anti-Semite, right? And then he goes along with the list. So he tries to redeem himself while he's throwing a jab. What do you think about this here, sir? Last words on this piece here before we move on?
Yeah, this was a knockout punch that Pence was throwing at Trump. And Trump has no need to apologize. He didn't even know who Fuentes was. Now, keep in mind, Jermaine BOTSIO and our audience out there, this is a double standard. And I'll tell you why it is a double standard. Fuentes is a white nationalist. He is a Holocaust denier. And Pence wants Trump to apologize for that. Let's look at Milo. Okay, Milo is a groomer. He is someone that was trying to promote child grooming and pedophilia. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's who Milo is. In fact, Milo said that he is sodomy free now.
Yeah.
Okay? but so we can apologize. So they want people to apologize when it's racial. How about when it's sexual? How about Pence asking Trump to apologize about meeting with Milo? You see, these Democrats and these liberals, they don't care anything about sodomy. They don't care anything about pedophilia. They'll care nothing about that. If you say something bad about a black person, they care about that. You can say anything you want to about white people, and you know what? They won't care. They will not care. You say anything about a black person, it's racist. They also give a pass when it comes to LGBTQ, whatever that acronym is. Okay, they give a pass for that. So no, I think that it is a double standard. If they want, Trump to apologize, have them say it out loud. Apologize for the white nationalists and apologize for the pedophilia guy. And they won't do that. Pedophilia gets a pass.
It certainly does. Let me tell you, Trump shall not apologize for nothing. You start apologizing, you lose in the liberal world.
Yes.
I've seen it. I've seen it all. You start thinking that you're apologizing and you're doing the right thing. The liberals are like, we got ya. They're like this. We don't give a crap about that. We just want you to apologize so we can use it against ya.
Yep.
That's exactly what they want to do. Trump is smart enough to know this. Pence is a gosh darn snake. He uses Christianity to fool boomers. Oh, I mean, my devout Christian heart. Well, he's saying that he got a knife behind his back ready to stab you. So I don't fall for that game. I like to look at what they do, and I know who Pence is. So I want folks to understand that I know who Pence is. Somebody remember when Pence was screwing over Trump? I had a lot of people come up to him. Jermaine, he's a devout Christian. Yeah, y'all said that. And now look at y'all. Y'all are saying F Pence, right? Yeah, and you're using the 4-letter word with him. Yeah, all that devout Christian stuff went out the window when you seen what he was doing. So I'm letting you know these people use that to finesse. And for the new people who don't know what finesse is to play you, right? To play you like a sucker, right? Yeah, that's what it is. It is to pull the wool over your eyes because they don't think you're smart. That's what finesse is. They're running a finesse game on you. Now, Anthony Allen, moving forward, we're going to speak about another finesse game. A lot of people are calling finesse game. I'm calling it a referendum on Trump. Folks are going to get mad at this, but gosh darn it, we're going to have to hash it out. We're going to have to speak it out like family. You get what I'm saying? Like somebody's caught on drugs, and you're trying to tell them to stop, right? Yeah, you got to sit down and have a hard talk, right? A heart-to-heart. That's what we're about to do. Anthony Allen, race call for Raphael Warnock. I want to go ahead and run this when I come back. I want to speak about it. Here we go.
And right now, the Associated Press has just given the check mark to Raphael Warnock. He's going back to the U.S. Senate as the winner of this runoff against Herschel Walker, right now at 50.4% to Walker's 49.6%. Raphael Warnock has won the runoff in Georgia 4 weeks after we held the midterms in 2022, which in effect, Laura, gives you the balance of power now in the Senate. Democrats at 51, Republicans at 49, majority's 51, and that's where the Democrats have reached. This means essentially that Kamala Harris will not have to break any tie-breaking votes. This means, in effect, that on the committee votes, you know, when you have legislation that's on the margins, Democrats and Joe Biden will have a slight edge after this victory tonight.
Bill Hammer, I'd like to say this is surprising, but it's not. This is what we expected, and you know, look, the Senate Democrats, I would argue, did a much better job, and they got the early vote out, and Brian Kemp gave his list and did a late night kind of video call, but I mean, you got to have the operation in effect, as always. Guys, we appreciate it. Bill, stay with us. All right, we have more. All right, we're not going to more. We got to go to Molly Hemingway. Sorry, I have a whole script in front of me. Molly Hemingway and, of course, Kellyanne Conway. Molly, you and I talked about this about a week ago. We felt this coming. To me, it never felt like the Senate Republicans wanted this guy in office. He was a Trump pick. They didn't like that. They probably like him as a person.
Wow. And that's where I want to stop it. Thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman, Laura Ingraham. Let me tell you, what a beautiful woman. Anthony Allen. She stopped exactly where I want to where I want to talk about, right? She said that the Senate Republicans didn't want him. He was a Trump pick, right? My goodness gracious, and he lost. Most Trump picks, when Trump's right next to you, you can feel the votes that you're losing. Anthony Allen, my goodness gracious, what happened here in Georgia in your humble estimation, first of all, what
Yes.
happened here, and then we'll interject Trump here in a bit. It looks at the state look red as hell. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna go back to the screen here. It looked real red. My goodness gracious. A lot of folks saying it's cheating. What's going on?
Yeah, there are a lot of things going on. There are so many moving parts. Cheating took place. Anti-Trump took place. A lot of things happened all at one time. And Laura Ingham is perfectly correct. What happened down there is a complete failure. It's very, very disappointing. Now, actually, people from Tennessee went down to Georgia in order to knock on doors and support the candidate Herschel Walker.
Yep.
That's what they did here in Tennessee. I didn't go down there, but people from Tennessee have always gone down to Georgia to support the Republican candidates down there. They did so to support Loeffler and Perdue against Warnock and Ossoff, folks from Tennessee. Now, this should have been all hands on deck. Like Laura Ingham said, every Republican senator should have been down in Georgia.
Yep, they should
That's
have.
what they should have been there. Okay. Trump should have campaigned for Herschel Walker. Governor Kemp should have campaigned for Herschel Walker. But this is a prime example of cutting off your nose to spite your face. Because of the Trump hate, the establishment cut off Herschel Walker, allowed Herschel Walker to lose just to spite Trump. That's all this was about. They hate Trump so much, they would rather for Herschel Walker to lose so they could say he was a Trump pick that lost, so we need to get rid of Trump. So that's part of the puzzle that's taking place there also. The other piece of the puzzle, and you and I talked about this, when you look at that map, you can pull that map up if you're able to.
Yep,
look at
I
that
got
map.
it up.
It is all red. The blue spaces are around the urban areas where a lot of Black people live at. Those urban areas are so densely populated that they have more population than small states and small countries. Okay, millions of people densely packed around Atlanta. You can see the blue around Atlanta. If you look to the west, you can see Columbus, Georgia, and that's Fort Benning area, a little blue patch there. You go to the south east, you see Savannah, blue patches there. And then my home city, Augusta, Georgia, it's all blue around that area. And that's what Warnock did. He didn't care about the urban areas. He knew that if he focused on those densely packed urban areas, he didn't worry about the suburban areas, but if he focused on the densely packed urban areas, that's all he did.
That's all
to
you need.
get those votes out. A friend of mine was actually down in Atlanta, and this is what he said. He said, "We are in Atlanta Sunday, and we were in downtown Atlanta. I didn't see a single Herschel Walker sign in the area around the stadium.
There you go.
I saw tons of Warnock signs on every telephone pole, and they had vote December 6th signs on every telephone pole. Nothing for Walker. Our lazy ass Republican Party deserves to be beat in Georgia."
There you go.
Okay. We had folks from Tennessee going down to Georgia. Okay. My friend went down there and he saw nothing to do with Herschel Walker in Atlanta whatsoever. And they spited, they hate Trump so much, they cut off Herschel Walker just to spite Donald Trump. And that's why we lost, because they hate Donald Trump so much, they threw Herschel Walker under the bus.
You know, I absolutely agree with you there. I absolutely do. Now, there's some folks out there who are saying that Herschel Walker wasn't a good candidate. This is what they were saying. But I'm not all about if he was a good candidate. I'm about the work that needs to be put in. What you brought up is very, very instrumental. When it comes to the urban areas, Republicans are nowhere to be seen. And this is where the battle, where the fight needs to happen. We understand that we can win the rural areas. The rural areas are mostly populated with white Americans, Caucasian folks. Let's be honest here, right? Remember, I told you we're going to have an honest conversation. Most of the urban areas are heavily, densely populated with minorities, right, of all ethnicities. The minorities at school, at the playground, are hit by Democrats. Even in the classroom, they say, well, Democrats are for minorities. The teachers even say this. The messaging that Republicans have, hold on, when it comes to minorities, it sucks. It sucks in a sense where you don't have enough gall to go into to the real battlefield and speak what it is. We can't even sit there and speak about the Republican Party's history. Right? Remember what I told you, Anthony Allen. When you speak to a lot of these Republicans that are running right now, they don't even know the Republican history.
Right.
So when a black person come and speak to them, they can't speak well. There needs to be a national program where if you're white as snow, like the snow outside here in Minnesota, it's hard for you to speak to a room full of black folks that are blacker than my hat here. Right? It's hard for you to speak because let's be honest, there's a lot of white folks who get nervous. Right? You get nervous speaking to darkies. Trust me, there's a lot of black folks who get nervous speaking to a whole bunch of white folks. But this conversation, this type of thing needs to happen. Most of the Republicans and conservatives are of a Caucasian descendant. They're mostly white. I want people to understand this, right? Jermaine like to speak plainly. I'm a realist. And if you're going to have this view and you can't go down and speak to black folks and speak why they need to vote for you, why the Democrats are tricking. And when they start speaking about color, be able to speak about color plainly. If you're not able to do that, you're going to lose. And that's what's happening. Republicans lose so much in the urban areas, Anthony Allen. They've decided not to play in the urban areas. They don't even try. So if you're not trying to work on the message and you're waiting for social media guys like me to help you out, you got to be retarded. You got to be. So I want folks to understand that's what it has to come down to. We have to have education, how to speak to minorities. That's something that Republicans have to take in.
Yeah.
Right? Anthony Allen, go ahead, brother. You got to say something. You got to say something,
yeah.
brother. Go ahead.
Let me address that also. A couple of weeks ago, I gave a talk about the history of the Republican Party, at a Republican Party meeting. And people did not know that the Republican Party has a glorious history when it came to abolishing slavery. And I talked about the Black Republicans in the first, Senate after the war. However, just to kind of dovetail to your point, if you go to Atlanta, there are six schools there, six Black schools. They call it the Atlanta University Center. There's Spelman, there's Morehouse, there's Clark College there, there's Morris Brown, and there's the Atlanta Theological Seminary. You have those Black colleges there. Spelman is where Kamala Harris went to school.
Yep.
Morehouse is where Martin Luther King went to school. Most white people have no clue about how prestigious those schools are.
Yep, they're very
and how
prestigious.
much energy is in those schools. I went to Georgia Tech. I have a lot of friends that went to the AU Center to get their degrees and then come to Georgia Tech to finish them off. However, they don't understand that those schools have a lot of energy, a lot of power, and you cannot find a Republican that will go and talk to the people at Spelman, Morehouse, Clark College, Morris Brown, or the Atlanta Theological Seminary.
There you go.
When you talk about Augusta, Georgia, you have Payne College in Augusta, Georgia. That's a Black school. You can't find any Republican going down to Payne College to say, hey, here is the Republican message. You can't find any Republican going down to Savannah State. All those blue areas that you see on that map, they are all populated by Black schools. But you cannot find a Republican to say, you know what? I'm going to put on my big boy pants and I'm going to learn my history. I'm going to go down to Atlanta University Center and I'm going to talk to some Black kids at these universities. Okay. And so you're right, Jermaine BOTSIO. The messaging into the Black community or the urban areas by the Republican Party needs to be addressed. They are not doing that because that map, once again, shows it clearly. It's all red except for those little pockets.
Yep.
And so that's all Warnock Dick would say. You know what? You guys can have everything else. I just want Atlanta, Augusta, Fort Benning area, and Savannah, and Savannah. And that's all they went after.
That's all they went after. And let's be honest, the Democrat Party has targeted minorities. They could give a crap about whitey. And because of them targeting minorities, spending most of their resources just to see what minorities listen to, what they watch, what they do, they're able to target them and to get most of them. And this is where Republicans lose too.
Yes.
When you look at the demographics and who would be the takeover population by 2030, they're saying it's what do they say? It's Hispanics, Latinos. We will be a brown nation. Remember this, Anthony. You heard of this, right? Nancy Pelosi even clapped. She said, "Yeah, you'll look like my grandson, little Alito, right?" I don't even know who her grandson's name is. I'm just saying. This is what she said. Go, if you don't believe me, look it up. By 2030, America will be brown. So that lets you know when the liberals are speaking about this, they are playing the long game. They know that if they target minorities and get them based upon how they grow up and their economic status, right? Most of them are raised by their mama. Remember, I told you, if you're raised by your mama, more than likely you're going to be a liberal. They will win, they will rule. And guess what? That's what's happening. You can see the immigrants, the illegal immigration that is blasting off in this country. Republicans have to understand, if you're not targeting minorities, you're not going down and saying, hey, these folks are trying to use you, and this is how they're trying to use you, you will lose. And this is what it comes down to. Minorities are taking over in the United States here. And if Republicans only focus on messages that only resonate with Caucasians, they will lose. And that's what's going on. Most of the messaging that comes from the Republican Party, you can run your lips all day long to me and say, hey, Jermaine, the message is for all people, right? Yeah, it sounds like all people, but it's not in a way that is inviting for most minorities. And Republicans have to ask themselves, why is it not? Remember, I told you we're going to have a real talk. That's why this show should be a gosh darn national, right? Yeah. Sean Hannity be taking notes from me. Gosh darn, I hate this black guy. Look at him. Right? I ain't playing. This is a real talk. You're not going to get this anywhere else. So Republicans have to understand that. Why isn't our message resonating with minorities? Why does it resonate more with Caucasians rather than minorities? Ask yourself that. And when you get to the answer of that, you'll understand what you need to do. Now, Anthony Allen, moving forward here. Kari Lake. I want to speak. No, actually, we'll speak about Kari Lake here in a quick second. We're still on this here. I got one more thing here I want to show. Democrat Senator Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff support abortion on demand without no limits. Take a look at this.
This question is for both senators. Is there any instance in which either one of you would support any limitations on abortion?
I voted to protect Roe v. Wade, and I would do that again.
So, Senator Ossoff, same to you. Is there any instance in which you would support any limitations on abortion?
Yes, like Senator Warnock, I voted to protect the freedom and privacy established in Roe v. Wade.
So no limitations?
Yes.
No limitations. No limitations. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Pookie Martinez. Pookie Martinez took the $5 challenge on Rumble. Says $5 challenge. Kanye looking like S&M workout attire. Remind me of Pulp Fiction. Bring out the Gimp. Absolutely. Shout out to Pookie Martinez. Yeah. Rescuing Marcellus Wallace scene. Yeah. LMAO. Absolutely. Shout out to Pookie Martinez. So there you go, Anthony Allen. Warnock. He could believe in killing everybody on this side of heaven and he would still win. That's how powerful the Democrat machine is right now, and whatever else they're doing besides, their messaging. Now, Anthony Allen, last but not least, before we move forward, every time now when a Republican loses, we have Republicans and conservatives saying that is cheating. Now, Anthony Allen, if you're a conservative Republican out there and you believe there's cheating, why participate in a system that you believe that is rigged? That's my first, question. And second, if it's not cheating, right? Because you sound crazy. You're going to sound crazy. That's what the Democrats are trying to make us sound. If it's not cheating, could it be that there has been a major shift, ladies and gentlemen, in the consciousness of the younger generation? They just don't believe in the things that we believe in. And is that something that conservatives and Republicans are having a hard time to face it? Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that there's a combination of those things. I don't think the Democrats win hands down by not cheating, by delivering their message. You know, like there's a cheating aspect in there.
There's
too.
something going on there.
There's also a messaging aspect that is the responsibility of the Republican Party. If the Republicans really feel that they're cheating, they have won the House, and they need to investigate the voting machines also. We've seen the cheating that took place with the stuffing the ballot boxes. That's part of cheating. And the COVID-19 mail-in ballots, that's part of the cheating also. So some of that does take place. We know that they're cheating when they can elect someone like Joe Biden. We know they're cheating when they elect someone like John Fetterman. Okay, that has to be cheating. Okay,
oh,
and we
Lord.
know it's cheating when they elected a dead man in Pennsylvania. Tony DeLucas was his name. He was dead. They elected him. So there is some aspect of cheating there. However, the Republican Party needs to put on their big boy pants and address the issue. We can't always sound like we're conspiracy theorists that
there you go
lose that,
and
you
that's
know,
where
it
I
was
wanted to talk
like it was due to cheating. We have to say, you know what? There's an aspect of cheating in there, but we still need to get our message out there to people. And at the same time, we need to work on to find out how they're doing this. I do believe that they're cheating out there, that they just can't figure out how it's done. I see too many voting boxes being stuffed. I see, too many mail-in ballots. All that's out there, and all that has to be cheating.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I believe that there's an element of cheating going on, but that's only part of the problem. A lot of the problem comes down to messaging, laziness, and the national Republicans, the ones that the top ones, Mitch McConnell and them, they're not for the regular folks anymore. They are controlled opposition party. If you don't toe the party line, you don't toe what the establishment Republicans want, they will not let you come in, and it seems to be the case now. Anthony Allen, Kari Lake, moving forward here, was seen roasting here. Joe Biden. Joe Biden visited Arizona. He's there right now, I believe. And people are asking if he will visit the border. And he had a pretty peculiar answer. And when he answered this, he got heavily roasted. I want to go ahead and run this when it comes back. I want to speak about it. Make sure you guys share, hit that like button. Here we go.
Why go to a border state and not visit the border? More importantly, no rules. They're going to invest billions of dollars in the enterprise.
Great question, bad answer. President Joe Biden dismissing the crisis unfolding at our southern border ahead of his trip to Arizona yesterday. This despite 2.3 million encounters during the last fiscal year, where 2.3 million came across the border. In a tweet, the National Border Patrol Union writes, quote, visiting an ice cream shop, very important. Visiting our border where illegal migration, deaths, escapes, and fentanyl smuggling set new records nonstop with thousands dying as a result, not important. It was important for former Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake to join us today, and she does today from Phoenix. Kari, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve.
You know, there were a million ways Joe Biden could have answered that question without actually saying what he did, but he has infuriated people because now it sure looks like he doesn't think what's going on down there is important.
Well, he created the problem. I mean, think about it. It was within minutes of him taking the oath of office that he pulled back all of President Trump's border policies that were keeping Arizonans and the rest of this country safe. Within minutes, he did that. He pulled back every single plan that President Trump put in place. He stopped the construction of the border wall, and he basically, with a wink and a nod, told the world, come on open, or come on over, we're open for business. Right. And he created the problem. But I am appalled that he would say that. You look into the eyes of a mother who's lost a 19-year-old son or a 20-year-old daughter to fentanyl poisoning, and you tell them what happens on the border doesn't matter. This man is I'm sorry, he's disgusting. And I can't even believe he had the gall to come to Arizona after creating this crisis here without even acknowledging it.
Yeah, to be so close and not to address it. You know, obviously, the people at the White House, the communications team, they probably think it would be bad optics for the president to be on the border, and look at it. But let's just think about this for a second. If the president was standing there with Border Patrol looking across at the unfinished wall or looking across the river or whatever, it would make it seem like he is addressing the issues of the people coming in. Forget about the fact that Republicans are saying, look, you got to do something to stop the people from coming in. At least it would make it look like he cared about the people who were actually coming in.
Well, maybe he'd have to care about the people first. The issue is that, you know, even if he couldn't make it to the border, to sit down with parents who've lost a child to fentanyl poisoning, to hear their stories, I think he's afraid to go to the border, to be honest, Steve. I think he's afraid that he might hear from the Border Patrol agents who are having to process hundreds of thousands of people every year in Arizona. He might get an earful from the people who are on the front lines of this crisis that he created. And I think optically they're very worried about that. Yeah. So he kept it real safe. He doesn't really go out in public, as you notice. He goes into to visit where they're going to be making a lot of semiconductors in a huge factory and plant that they're starting up here in Arizona, which is fantastic. But he's the president. Yeah. He gets a free flight. He can easily make it to the border. There's no excuse for him not addressing this issue and at least showing that he cares a little bit.
You're absolutely right in that.
Wow. So that's Kari Lake on Joe Biden not visiting the border. Apparently, they're saying that he hasn't been to the border in 11 years. Not since he was vice president for for Barack Obama, the magical Negro. Anthony Allen, what is your take on this here? Joe Biden in Arizona, he ain't going to the border though. I mean, my goodness gracious, is he running from it? What is he doing?
Yeah, this is in your face. The Democrat Party is telling conservatives, telling people concerned about the border that they are going to do exactly what they want to do. This is spiting Trump. They want people to say, you know what? We don't give a flip about what's happening on the border. We are in charge of this country. We can elect Fetterman. We can elect Warnock. We can elect anyone that we want to. If this thing goes the way that I think it's going to go, we could have Kamala Harris as president, okay? Because the Democrats are telling us to our faces, they don't give a flip about the Keystone Pipeline. They don't give a flip about the border. All they care about is Ukraine. All they care about are transgender issues. Joe Biden is a complete puppet, and I don't even know if he even has an understanding of where he is at a moment's notice. I think that they can wind him up, push him, tell him what to say, and push him in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And that's as far as we get with this. But, you know, Kari Lake, once again, I think that she was cheated out of her election. There were just too many things that went wrong in that election. So I do believe that the Democrats are cheating very, very effectively. In fact, Jermaine BOTSIO, they have perfected the steal. Okay, they can steal any election for any office they want to in these key states, and they're nothing. But what's happening is that they're telling us in our face, you don't count. The American people, we don't care about you. All we care about is control and power, and they're going to exact that out of the American people. If the American people, if we do not stand up to this, they will never go down to that border down there. Kamala Harris didn't go.
Nope,
Joe Biden's not going to go. They are not going to go down there because they are in charge and they are going to promote those Democrat policies. And one more point about this: the Democrat policies have been able to change, and now they're going for the transgender. Not the black vote, they already got that. Not the brown vote, they already got that. Now it's all about the transgender people. That's what they're going after now. Black transgender, brown transgender, they don't care. It's the transgender people now.
Transgender, puppy people, ant people, all sorts of people they going after. The Democrats have perfected the cheating. They really have. That's why they don't care about doing anything that is positive, like going down to the border. You get what I'm saying? Joe Biden cannot go to the border and get reelected real easy. They don't have to actually do the work anymore, Anthony Allen. You get what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
A lot of the, a lot of the situations that are going on, it seems like somebody else is just pulling the strings. They just go where they're allowed to go. They go ahead and make these stupid, speeches about nothing. You get what I'm saying? When you listen to the speeches about nothing, and then they go back to their dungeon, and something happens, right, legislatively, that is done behind the scenes. So what it lets me know is that these folks here are really just puppets. They just go where they're wanted. Joe Biden and these folks aren't going to go to the border because the Republicans aren't demanding it. I don't see the Republican base demanding, hey, you need to go to the border, right? The top Senate Republicans, how come they're not at Joe Biden's desk at his door every day, knocking on it? Hey, Mr. President, another 1 million ran in. Can you go down there? Right? 200,000 flipped over the border this month. Yeah, 200K. Can you go? They're not doing it. So if they're not doing it, the American public is not begging him to do it. There is no need for him to go.
That's right.
And that, as sad as that sounds, that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. Now, Anthony Allen, I want to speak to you about Trump. Trump organization found guilty of tax fraud. Big deal. I want to go ahead and speak about it. Here we go.
Ron, we know the jury has been deliberating for something like 9.5 hours. And just to remind people, this is the criminal tax fraud trial, not implicating Mr. Trump personally, but his business, the Trump organization, with the star witness here, the former CFO, Alan Weisselberg. This is all about this scheme that prosecutors allege happened, 15-year-long scheme that would basically try to compensate top executives or help these execs avoid paying a... Well, what is it?
Guilty on all counts. We have a verdict. It is guilty on all 17 counts. Just in moments ago, after about 10 hours of deliberations. And you're right, Hallie, this is a case against the Trump Corporation, two entities of the Trump Corporation. There were no named individuals. Former President Donald Trump was not named, but certainly this is his family company. This is his livelihood. This is his business. This is his reputation. This is all things Donald Trump, except him being named as a defendant in this case, you might say. And the jury decided that they were guilty. The Trump organization was guilty of what the prosecution described as a culture of tax fraud and business record manipulation that stretched some 15 years. Essentially, what you had was the top executives of this corporation, especially Alan Weisselberg, whose name we've heard a lot, who was the chief financial officer of the Trump Corporation for many, many years. His relationship with the family stretched back generations to former President Donald Trump's father he worked with many, many years ago. He had pleaded guilty in another case to 15 counts of tax fraud, and in exchange for a shortened prison sentence, which will be about 5 months, and he testified against the Trump Corporation, saying that this was something that he did on his own. He tried not to implicate the corporation or any other individuals in his testimony, but he was not able to do that, you might argue, because the jury essentially is saying that this was not a rogue operation. This was something that was widespread throughout the company, that the company was involved in, that there were records that were fabricated to try to cover up what they were doing. Essentially, Weisselberg and others were being paid perks, luxury apartments, vehicles, tuition for his grandkids' schooling, which totaled hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and they were being paid off the books. In other words, they weren't paying taxes on this income, on these benefits. So they were essentially defrauding the IRS, defrauding New York State Department of Tax, and the taxpayers who live in all of us generally is what the charge was, to the tune of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. The company also benefited because they didn't pay payroll taxes on this revenue, you might say. So they were able to conceal and hide hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars along the way over 15 years. Now, the penalty is a fine, essentially, of $1.7 million. However, there's no jail time for any of the corporate entities.
Wow, and
however,
I want to stop it right there. No jail time for the entities, $1.7 million fine. Anthony Allen, what do you think about this? Will this hurt Trump? Will it help him? What do you think?
Yeah, all of this is designed to hurt Trump. And these people are very, very careful to say that the Trump organization was charged. And they're careful not to say Trump or his family was charged. That's a very, very important distinction there. But all of this is designed to hurt Trump. They want to, get rid of Trump by 1,000 cuts, 1,000 nicks, 1,000 little small kicks and pricks. That's how they're going to get rid of Trump in 2024. Nothing really, really big. Now, they will use something big, but now they are just nitpicking, trying to find any and all things such that when 2024 rolls around, he'll be a bloody mess. And I want to tell conservatives, either stick with Trump or just get off the train. They are going to definitely go after Trump. They're going to come after me, you, anyone in the conservative movement. And they want us to look bad, to look horrible. But you know what? This country has got to be saved. And if someone has already taken the beating, they have the armor that's already dented, the armor that's already battle worn. I'm going with that guy. I'm not going with the guy with a shiny armor on. When I go to my mechanics, I want to go to my mechanic who has tools that have been used. I don't want my mechanic to go to a new toolbox and my mechanic has on a clean, pair of work clothes. My mechanics have old tools, worn tools, and they have dirty work clothes on because they know how to fix things for real. So that's who Trump is. But these people are going after Trump, and they're going to try to bring him down for 2024. Not only do they want to bring him down, but keep this in mind, Jermaine BOTSIO, they want Trump in jail.
Mm-hmm. They certainly do. They certainly do want him in jail. I don't think that this will be, a defining factor on somebody's vote. I don't think so at all. This just to me is another bag on the baggage list that Trump has. That's it. It's another bag. Let me tell you. And he has a lot of bags. I can tell you that. This is meant to muddy him up. Now, Anthony Allen, he has this. He has his old term. He has a lot of stuff behind him. And then you add the nonsense with Kanye West and things of this nature.
Yeah.
Me looking far ahead. I'm the canary in the coal mine. I smell the gas, and then I go, tweet, 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 tweet. I'm tweeting. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell folks, hey, get the hell out of here. It's about to blow, right? It's about to blow. And I'm smelling the gas right now. And the gas that I'm smelling, ladies and gentlemen, ain't very good. My prediction, and it's going to be a prediction that is going to, make some folks mad. I believe that if Trump wins the nomination, and to me, that's going to be a long shot. If he wins the national Republican nomination, and if he was to go head to head with Joe Biden, because please believe his dumbass will run again, he will lose worse than he did the first time. That is my prediction. If he even makes it that far. With all the Trump folks that he endorsed, all his picks, you look at them across the country. Either there's a referendum on Trump organically, or there's a referendum on Trump from the establishment. Either way, there's a referendum out there. Can't get around it, right? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. And I believe if he runs, once more again, if he runs, he ends up being the nominee, he will lose worse. And folks will get mad. Anthony Allen, last words on this here, sir.
I think that number one, there is a referendum on Trump. Like you said, they will try to muddy him up, and like I've said, they want to win by 1,000 nicks and bruises, as many as they can get. And the baggage that Trump is carrying, they have put on him. Okay. There are some things that Trump, he does make these mistakes, but a lot of it is his own baggage that the Democrats and the district attorneys in New York and Florida and other places have put on him. I don't think that he'll lose this time up. I think that people have seen the situation of our country with Joe Biden, and I think that the Republicans, they're going to have to figure out how to beat these Democrats by, number one, getting the message out, and number two, they need to have the investigation of Hunter Biden, and they need to stop being lazy. Now, that's a lot to do for Republicans because they couldn't even pull Herschel Walker over the finish line. But I'm going to stick with Trump, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that, he wins from my, vantage point here in Oak Ridge. I'm going to campaign for him and fight for him. I just think that he's a better candidate. I don't think that Ron DeSantis would be able to put up with whatever they throw at him, because whoever they put in place of Trump, if it's Ron DeSantis or anyone, that person automatically inherits everything that they were going to put on Trump. Okay, so Trump is there. They have already beat him up. He knows what it's like. If they move Trump out of the way and put in Ron DeSantis or Pompeo or anyone else, guess what? They become Donald Trump automatically. So I'm going to stick with the knight whose armor is dented and battle worn, than going with a knight in shining armor who, battle armor hasn't been proven. I'm kind of like David. David said, I'm not going to put on Saul's armor. He said, I'm not going to have an armor. I'm just going to just go out there because, Saul's armor hasn't been proven. And I'm going with that which has the proven armor. And to me, that's Donald John Trump.
I certainly respect that. Absolutely. I certainly do.
Thank you.
I certainly do. All I can say is that I don't have any pick right now.
Yeah.
I don't, so I'm just waiting, hopefully Moses comes down, Jesus or Moses come down, and then I can vote for Jesus. Jesus will probably lose, but gosh darn it, he's somebody.
Yeah.
Anthony Allen, let me tell you something, buddy, pal. That is the show. I want to thank you so much for coming on in here, hanging out with us, and giving us the good word. Any last words for our beautiful crowd?
Yeah,
and also, before I do that, I want to give a shout out to Kristen Walker. She donated, took our challenge on Cash App. Shout out to you. I want to go ahead and make sure you get the customary. Shout out to you. Absolutely. Shout out to you. All right, Anthony Allen, go ahead, brother. Any last words?
Yeah, I'm an eternal optimist, and so that's just my point of view about things. I just want to, make sure that, even if Trump loses, I want to be there from the very beginning all the way to the end, whether he wins or lose. I'm going to be there. I mean, that's just my nature. Maybe it's a character fault, but if I want to, be with Trump, I'm going to ride that Trump train all the way till it crashes and burns, or it gets lifted out of the dungeon and to a victory. But I just want to tell people that, the Democrats, they are depressing all of us conservatives. They're taunting us by these wins. I debate Democrats online all the time, and they didn't have any idea that Warnock was going to win. Just like Obama, they didn't have any idea that Obama was going to win. I mean, they were campaigning, but they were still shocked and surprised. And to win the way that they're winning, they only win by just a few percentage points. These aren't like these big wins, 13 and 14. This is like Warnock, maybe 0.8%. Okay. He was losing until he won, that kind of thing. So I just want people to really be, positive and do what you can, because our country is being taken over, and they're mocking us by making sure they're telling us they can win any election they want now. They can do it. Kamala Harris can be president. If they want to have if they want to have a transgender blue-haired person as president, they can make it happen now. It doesn't matter. They could have a dog, a cat, a dead person. They have the ability now to swing elections any way they want to. Any way they want to. And the Republicans need to figure out how to go about getting these algorithms out of the system, because these Democrats, they're going to mock us. They're going to elect dogs and cats. Okay. They don't care as long as they could win.
Man, I'm telling you. You said Kamala Harris as president. That was a knife in my heart.
They can do it now, Jermaine BOTSIO.
Oh,
They can do it.
Lord. I'm telling you, that'll be hell on earth. That's hell being brought in. That's crazy. You're right. They can elect anybody if they could get Fetterman in. Fetterman is damn near retarded.
That's right.
If you could get a retarded guy like Fetterman in, gosh darn it, you can get Mickey Mouse in. You can get anybody in, even a dead person. You know.
Jermaine BOTSIO, Lauren Boebert in Colorado, she almost lost.
Oh yeah.
Okay, they were going to pull her Democrat candidate over the finish line, except he got caught having sex in a storage shed. Okay, that's the only thing that killed him. And they said, we can't pull you over. We could pull you over, but it would be too obvious.
Yep.
So they let him go. But she was losing her race until he was caught on video having sex in a storage container.
I know. I heard about that. I'm telling you, they are Democrats, some nasty folks. They absolutely are. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for coming on in here, hanging out with us. I want to thank everybody for hitting that like button and everybody for sharing. All right. I want to thank you all. Absolutely. Everybody who donated as well. Absolutely. I'm trying to get our good friend, what's his name? Jamal on tomorrow. So I believe we will have a show on tomorrow. I've texted him. He hasn't texted me back yet, but I'm pretty sure there'll be a show on tomorrow. We will be on 9 p.m. Central Standard Time with Jamal. And we shall talk about what's going on a little bit further here, and get his take on some things here.
Yeah.
So, that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You guys take care. Have a very, very, very good night, and we shall catch you later with another episode of Conservative Nation. You guys take care.